Here are the top 10 countries with the most strict laws in the world. Number 10. Japan. Japanese society places a strong emphasis on respect for authority, social order, and adherence to cultural norms. While there is a high degree of conformity in society, individual expression is also valued. The hierarchy of authority is prevalent in almost all structures, in the household, school, office, and the workplace. Everybody respects the one who is higher than him. Japanese companies also adhere to strict working policies, and all employees, from the CEO down to the lowly staff, are expected to perform and excel in their designations. Talking about World War II and the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is prohibited in the country. Number 9. Iran. It is an Islamic republic with a strict legal and governmental system. The country's legal and political system is based on Islamic principles and laws. Their supreme leader, who is a religious figure, holds significant power. Actions and propaganda against the government are strictly prohibited. A slight negative statement about how bad the Iranian government is enough to get you in trouble. Iran has limitations on freedom of expression, including restrictions on the media, the internet, and public gatherings. Logging into social media sites like Facebook, Google, and YouTube also means trouble. Men cannot sport certain hairstyles other than what is prescribed in Islam. Women are not allowed to go out in public unless they adhere to certain dress codes, such as covering their head in hijab and avoiding skinny jeans. Western music such as jazz, rock, and rap are strictly prohibited. Iran has one of the highest rates of death penalty executions in the world, and the death penalty is applied for a range of offenses, including drug-related crimes and political activities. Number 8. Syria. This country was experiencing a protracted and complex conflict. Violence has increased in Syria over the years as clashes between the government and the rebel forces continue to mount. To quell anti-government actions, the Syrian regime has resorted to a nationwide communications blackout. Communications through mobile and landline phones and internet access are significantly limited. Foreign news correspondents are banned from entering the country, and news is heavily monitored. Syrian journalists who act against the government are tortured, or worse, end up dead. The Syrian government has been accused of widespread human rights abuses, including extrajudicial killings, arbitrary detentions, torture, and forced disappearances. Number 7. Eritrea. This country is known for having a highly authoritarian government with strict control over various aspects of society. Eritrea has been ruled by President Isaias Afwerki, who came to power in 1993. The president and his government have full control of the media in the country, with their agencies having total control of the news and who writes the news. Nothing gets published or broadcasted without the approval of the president's office. Religion is also controlled. No one is allowed to perform public worship, and one has to apply as a member to a certain sect before they can be allowed to practice their faith. Eritreans' ability to travel abroad is strictly controlled. Exit visas are required, and travel is often limited or denied, leading to a significant Eritreans who have fled the country to escape these restrictions and human rights abuses. Number 6. China. China is a booming economy that can take the world by storm. With China being open to other nations, it has projected a very positive image amidst territorial rows with its neighbors. But one should understand that China is still a communist country, and that means no one should ever cross the government. Anti-government propaganda is immediately traced, and those responsible are silenced. It is a crime to instill Western thoughts and influences in the minds of the Chinese youth. Media is controlled. So is access to the internet. Nobody is allowed to discuss topics that pertain to rebellion, change, reform, and most specifically, the Tiananmen protests of 1989. Number 5. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's legal system is based on Islamic law, which influences both criminal and civil matters. The country follows a strict interpretation of Sunni Islam known as Wahhabism. Sharia law plays a prominent role in the legal system, influencing family law, criminal justice, and social norms. Social laws, which mostly apply to women, are stern. For example, women are not allowed to drive or be with a man who is not a relative or go out in public in casual clothes. Internet access is restricted and media outlets are closely watched. Senior editors can get fired and arrested if they allow to publish or broadcast any content that says something negative about the government. Number 4. Cuba. Cuba is mainly projected as a top holiday destination in the world. But behind its paradise beaches and hip-moving Latin music, Cuba is still a communist country, and those who speak out against the government are always in trouble. Internet is screened regularly, and writers who post anti-government sentiments will likely face jail time if they get arrested. Cuban citizens have faced restrictions on travel abroad, and exit visas were previously required for foreign travel. In recent years, some travel restrictions have been eased. Number 3. Equatorial Guinea. In this country, people are discouraged from learning how to read and write. There are no bookstores or newsstands in the country. Tourism is also low, as foreigners are normally not allowed to enter the country. The government, which is ran by President Teodoro Obiang Mbasogo since a coup installed him in 1973, controls the TV and radio stations. Foreigners who are allowed to enter Equatorial Guinea are closely monitored and prohibited from filming scenes and conditions that portray poverty. Number 2. North Korea. This country is known for having one of the most strict and repressive governments in the world. It is the only country today that is still purely communist. Ordinary North Koreans have limited freedom of movement within the country. Travel abroad is tightly controlled and allowed only in exceptional circumstances for most citizens. North Korea accepts tourists from other nations except from South Korea and the United States. Every tourist in the country has an assigned personal police escorts that will accompany tourists from the day they come in to the day they fly out, to ensure they are not breaking any rules, such as speaking against the North Korean government. Everything is controlled by the administration, from TV, radio, and print. Contents for news and broadcast are censored. Internet access is only granted to the ruling elite, and even their online activities are strictly monitored. Sexual relationships between non-married couples are prohibited. Women are not allowed to wear pants, and men should cut their hair every 15 days. Number 1. Singapore. Singapore is known for having a highly efficient and well-regulated government, often described as an any-state or authoritarian democracy. The country's legal and political system emphasizes stability, law and order, and economic development. Singapore may be small, but the government's firm implementation of their rules and policies on locals and tourists are notches higher compared to other countries in this list. Any wrong move will cost someone a fine. Spitting in public has a fine. Smoking in public will get you in serious trouble. Wearing the wrong dress when going out will land you in jail. And those are just petty violations. The country is also known for its strict drug laws, including the imposition of the death penalty for certain drug trafficking offenses. This very solid adherence to the rules makes Singapore a world-class economy with standards of living rated higher than most advanced European nations. What can you say about this 10 countries with the most strict laws in the world? You can leave your reaction in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.